Hello everyone, I'm FMZ and welcome to episode 37 of Resurgence with Sheffield Wednesday. Today we take a look at the last couple of games of the season. We round up the table, we round up the awards, and we find out what I did next. Don't forget, if you enjoy this content, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, leave me a comment if you've got anything to say. Also, don't forget, I'm a member of the FM Creators community and the Passion for FM team. The link to the Discord servers is in the description. Let's get to the last two games of the championship season. So, following the game that finally saw us promoted to the Premier League, we took on Huddersfield Town and we beat them by 2-0. Christoph Zimmermann and Ryan Brewster with both goals. We then finished the season away at Cardiff City and came from 2 goals down to beat them by 3-2. It was the perfect way to end the season. Brandon Borello scoring the winner in the 88th minute as we left Wales with all 3 points. So let's wrap up the league table in its entirety, shall we? So we were crowned the champions of the championship with 98 points. Norwich finished second on 95. Bristol City were the team that were promoted with us on 88 points. They beat Crystal Palace in the playoff final to make it into the Premier League for the first time, so well done to Bristol City. Joining Blackpool and Nottingham Forest in League One next year are Reading on goal difference over Stoke City. So that's the league table all wrapped up as we make our way to the top flight. On to the awards we go, and the fans' player of the season, and quite rightly so in my opinion, Christoph Zimmermann with 38%, James Bree second on 27, Ryan Brewster on 22 in third place. Conor Gallagher scored the goal of the season. Scored the goal of the season last season as well against Newcastle in February. Signing of the season with Christoph Zimmermann, the young player of the year, quite rightly as well, was James Bree. Statistics wise, we had a very good season with the statistics. The top goal scorers, both Emile Smith-Rowe and Ryan Brewster, ended up with 14 apiece. Christoph Zimmermann had the highest average rating with 7.22. Bree and Smith-Rowe shared the assists with 10 each. Massimo Luongo had the best pass completion rate with 92%. Ebre Eze had the most man of the matches with 5. James Bree had the most yellow cards with 13. And only 2 red cards this season. Luongo and Conor Gallagher were the 2 that were sent off. So this is always an interesting screen to have a look at, the season review. So we were expected to be in the running for the playoffs. No one expected us to go up automatically, let alone as champions. But we did it. Match of the season was the early season win away at Blackburn. It laid down a marker for us for the rest of the season. Moment to forget came right at the end as we lost at Birmingham City. We used 30 players. That was the 4th highest in the championship. But the best thing to have a look at is the league positions. We had a bit of a dip, probably that's October, November time, but as you can see, after Christmas we were flying and we were in the top 2 for pretty much the last 3 months of the season. A phenomenal effort from the lads as we gained promotion. We even had Emile Smith-Rowe pick up an individual award for the young player of the season. As I say, 14 goals in 36 games. He had a phenomenal year. He'd scored crucial goals at crucial times, did Emile Smith-Rowe, so I'm pleased and delighted that he picked up an award. Looking at the team of the year, 3 players from our perspective in the team of the year, a team mainly made up of us and Norwich. Dan Bentley is the exception to the rule in goal for Bristol City. I would like to have seen a couple more from ours, but never mind, I guess. So that's all of that taken care of. Now it's on to what happened next. And I suppose there is no easy way to show you this. I resigned as manager of Sheffield Wednesday on the 19th of June. You can see who I was appointed by above. We are now at Atalanta. So let's take a look at Atalanta. Now they've risen to prominence in the last few years of Atalanta. They were promoted back to Serie A in 2010 after being relegated the previous season. And they've had a steady rise. Obviously, they made it into the Champions League for the first time a few years ago, but they've never had that ability to take that next step. And this is why I took over, because I want to take them that next step. We've got a very good squad of players. You'll take a look at a couple of those in a minute. But yeah, obviously they're a 4-star team, so they're an upgrade from Sheffield Wednesday. There were a couple of offers that were out there. Fiorentina was another one that I was interviewed for, but that was a bit of a sideward step. this is certainly a step forward and a step in the right direction. If we can get Atalanta into the Champions League again, that would be a very, very good thing for us to do. Obviously, toppling Juventus is going to be a tricky one, but, you know, ambition and all that. The added caveat for this season as well, we are playing Europa League football. We finished 6th last season, so Europa League football with Manchester United and Tottenham are in the Europa League this year as well. So that was an interesting one for me to sort of say, oh, hello. And we could potentially draw them as well because of our coefficiency points. And I'm happy to report the financial situation at Atalanta is much better than what it was at Sheffield Wednesday. We are no longer penny pinching, folks. But we have a transfer budget of £37.5 million to spend. We have a wage budget of just over £1.5 million. We've got a little bit of that left to spend. They're very, very healthy, Atalanta. They're very well run. And I'm pleased that they've given me the task of changing this squad and getting it higher up the table. So I haven't had an awful lot of time with the players, but I have managed to secure a couple of additions to the squad. Juan Miranda has come in from Barcelona on loan. Mesut Ozil has arrived on a free transfer, and Rafael Santos Borré has joined on loan from Paris Saint-Germain. The other two were bought in by the director of football. So, despite the penny pinching not being a thing anymore, I haven't spent any money yet. We are planning to spend it. The transfer window doesn't close until the end of August in Italy, so we've got a bit of time to spend some Wonga. One major outgoing so far, Filippo Melagoli has gone to Roma for £8.75 million. He's the only major outgoing that I have overseen thus far. There may be a couple more, but we'll take a look at the squad and you can see who we've got. And to be fair, I've inherited a very, very good squad. There are a few names there you will recognise. Mainly Rob Holding, Luke Shaw, Stephen Bergwijn, Jordan Amavi, who played with Aston Villa in the Premier League. So overall, the squad is quite a large one. It will be trimmed down. As you can see, there's a couple of players who are available for loan. There's one that's potentially on his way out in one Luis Palmino. He's on his way out of the club. We are short in one particular area, and that is at centre half. So we're going to look to address that. But let's take a look at some of the key players that are going to be with us this season. And one name that jumped out straight away for me was Stephen Bergwijn. Now, as a Tottenham fan, when I saw him and I was like, yes, I can't believe we've sold him. But yes, he was bought for £14.75 million from Tottenham. An inverted winger, like the wingers, like a bit of pace, like the cut of this kid's jib as well. He's a very, very good player. And when we signed him in real life, I was delighted to see him in a Spurs shirt for the first time. Acceleration and agility are the two standouts. Pace as well. Crossing, not so much with 13, but that can improve. Dribbling of 16, flair of 16. A player that if we get the ball to him, he will make stuff happen. Switching wings to the other side, we have Ritzy Douan. He is a Japanese international. Plays on the right-hand side of midfield. He can play behind the striker as well. Technique of 16, vision of 16, agility of 16. All very good attributes. Again, a lot like Stephen Bergwijn. If we can get the ball to him, he will make things happen. And I said his name right as well. Strikers are another one that we are a bit short on, but we do have this man, Dusan Vlahovic, who joined the club from Fiorentina. He currently has a roughly 1 in 2 rating in terms of the goals. Pace of 16, stamina of 16, balance of 16, potential to be a 4-star player. A pressing forward. I like the advanced forward, so he can play that pretty well as well, so we'll probably stick with that. He's just been made the vice captain as well, so he's very, very happy. Only 22 as well. One very much for the future. Now, they're very much asking me to look at the youth and develop players, which is not something I'm always keen on, but there are a couple of gems. Taking a look at one now, Amid Traore has been with Atalanta since 2017. He was out on loan at Spal for 1 season, but has the potential to be a 4.5-star player. Acceleration of 17, agility of 16, pace of 15, dribbling of 16. Again, a lot like the two I've already mentioned with the wingers. There's lots of pace in this side, and that is something I'm very, very happy with. Because it's been very much all change at the top of Serie A. Inter have changed their manager, as have Roma. They changed it towards the end of last season. Milan have changed their manager, as have Fiorentina, as have Napoli, and as of course, we have as well. So yeah, it's all change at the top of the managerial pyramid, which you would think is probably good for Lazio and for Juventus. Those two haven't changed their manager. They are the favourites, of course. Juventus at 5-2, then come Inter at 3-1, Lazio at 4-1, Napoli at 5s, Milan and Roma at 6s and 7s. Then there's a gap to Fiorentina and then us. So they think we're going to finish 8th. I'm going to aim a lot higher than that and look for the top 6 at least. That is a bare minimum. Down the bottom, Lecce, Empoli and Brescia are the sides that they reckon are going to go down. Obviously, they are the 3 promoted sides. Parma and Spal are probably going to be down there as well, as are probably Genoa, as well as Sassuolo. So there's a lot of gap in the division in terms of who they think is going to be up the top and the bottom. That's generally the case with Italy. It's not quite as intense as some other European leagues, although looking at that top 6, obviously they're separated by very little in the bookmakers' odds at least. So it's going to be a very competitive season. And speaking of the competitiveness of the season, we start the season at home to Genoa before travelling to take on Inter. The first match you will see from our Serie A campaign is that of the match with Juventus, because why not start with Juve, eh? So there we have it. We are off to Italy, and it's something that I'm happy with. I'm happy to make the step up to a team that are a 4-star team. Obviously, I know there will be a few of you out there that are disappointed that I didn't stick around with Sheffield Wednesday, but I felt they were in better hands. Patrick Vieira, incidentally, took over at Sheffield Wednesday, and I wish him all the luck in the world of keeping them in the Premier League. And who knows, if it all goes wrong in Italy, I could well be back in England very quickly. But I'm hoping it doesn't. We've got a very good side here with Atalanta. There's a lot of good players in this squad. We are only going to try and add to it as we go towards the end of the transfer window, and I'm hoping for a successful season in Europe and at home as well. Don't forget, if you enjoy this content, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, leave me a comment if you've got anything to say. Also, don't forget, I'm a member of the FM Creators community and the Passion for FM team. The link to the Discord servers is in the description. That was episode 37 of Resurgence with Sheffield Wednesday / Atalanta. I will see you next time when we open up the Serie A campaign. We see how we got on in the first 2 games, and then we welcome Juventus to Atalanta. Until then, thanks for watching. Goodbye.